Okay, so we are rolling. What most fitness influencers will tell you, and most personal trainers as well, is that there is no secret to getting in shape. Now, that's not entirely true. There is one secret. And that secret is, it's actually really fucking easy. Logistically, all that's involved is some simple arithmetic, but realistically, there's a bit more to it. And what I mean by that is commitment, motivation, and your ability to adhere to, I guess, a set of guidelines is also pretty important. All you actually need to be able to do to be able to get shredded for the summer is add and subtract. And now with calculators, even a 5-year-old who struggles to read and write could probably get shredded for the summer. Although I'm not sure a 5-year-old could entirely stick to a regimented eating program. But then again, neither can I, so guess we have that in common. Anyway, in this video, basically what I'm going to be doing is running you through a scientific, not so scientific, slightly scientific, step-by-step guide on how to lose weight. Specifically, fat, because, you know, we don't want to lose lean body mass, because then you look like a deflated grandma. So, losing weight, what actually goes into going from fat to healthy, and then from healthy to looking like a cheese grater? The key words you're going to hear whenever you research losing weight or losing fat is calorie deficit. Now, I'm going to be getting into what a calorie deficit is and how to maintain it in a second, but firstly, the ground I want to cover is what is known as your basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is the rate at which your body burns calories on a daily basis. Often, metabolism is used as the word to summarize the basal metabolic rate, but your metabolism is the rate at which you burn energy daily, and the energy unit we're going to be referring to is calories. Not only are calories your best friend, but they can also be your worst friend. Too little calories and you'll look like you would have been stranded on a isolated raft for a month, and too many calories and you can end up on a hospital bed suffering from morbid obesity. Now, in order to lose weight, you're gonna have to calculate your basal metabolic rate. Now, there's a number of ways that you can do this. Fuck, what's the equation called? I've forgotten, man. Oh, I'm gonna have to fucking look it up. See, NZ rookie don't know shit, man. Now, there's a number of ways that you can calculate your basal metabolic rate. One of them is the Harris-Benedict's equation, which is essentially an equation where you put in, you know, your factors such as your height, your age, your activity, and it's an algorithm that works out a rough estimate of how many calories you burn daily. There are also many other metabolic rate calculators on the internet. All you have to do is search up metabolic rate calculator. It will ask you for some information about yourself, so usually your age, your height, your weight, how active you are. The more questions are asked, the better, because with more information, they tend to be more accurate. None of them will be 100% accurate to you or to me, even if I put in, you know, the exact correct information, and that's just because everyone's different. On some days you might walk to bloody, I don't know, your school to work. Some days you might bus. There's so many different factors. So the most effective method you can use in order to work out your metabolic rate is to use trial and error. Trial and error is a bit of a shit stick, and the reason for that is just because it takes quite a long time to work out. So for example, you can use one of the calculators to gain a rough estimate. So say it gives you an estimate of 2,500 calories and you eat 2,500 calories for the course of a week. It's absolutely imperative that you track your weight for that week to ensure that your weight is actually staying at the same rate. Hold on, can we just all very quickly take a minute to recognize the immaculate chicken and egg white omelette I've been making throughout this video. Not only is it about the size of, you know, Gandhi's forehead, but like it's yum as well. And look at this, when I take it out of the pan, it doesn't even stick. There is no egg or chicken residue to be seen. It is a clean pan. The omelette itself is the size of my plate. It was like 500 calories and had like 105 grams of protein. It was nuts. Anyway, back to, you know, losing weight and stuff. You can use one of the calculators to gain a rough estimate. So say it gives you an estimate of 2,500 calories and you eat 2,500 calories for the course of a week. It's absolutely imperative that you track your weight for that week to ensure that your weight is actually staying at the same rate, the same figure. Yeah, the same figure. If your weight goes up over the course of that week, then it's clear that the 2,500 calorie figure that the Harris-Benedict's equation has given to you is too high, and you actually burn on average a lower number of calories. And vice versa obviously applies to that. If you find that your weight is dropping, chances are that your basal metabolic rate is higher. So the most effective way to find out what your metabolic rate is to start eating a certain number of calories and track your weight and adjust the calories until your weight works out to be even over a prolonged period of time of maybe like a week, say. Otherwise, if you really can't be fucked doing any of that, you can just buy an Apple Watch. An Apple Watch will stay in your wrist and track how many calories you burn daily. So I've got one here. In fact, I'll show off a bit. So far today, I've burnt 2,420 calories in total. On an average day, I tend to burn 3,400 or roundabouts there. So if you are really lazy, can't be bothered to trial and error or eat a certain amount for a prolonged period of time, you can spend several $100s on a watch that will tell you. So you've calculated your metabolic rate using some basic arithmetic that potentially anybody could do, even if you are, as I said, below the average IQ standard. You're now watching this video in anticipation of the next step, which is the most key step, because without it, you're not going to lose any weight, you're not going to lose any fat, and you're going to look like a plumped up Father Christmas by the time summer rolls around. And that, my friends, would be the awaited, notorious, awful calorie deficit. A calorie deficit is where you consume a lower number of calories than you're expending on a daily basis. So you've worked out your basal metabolic rate, let's say it's 2,500 calories. You now need to ensure that you're eating a lower number of calories than 2,500 in order for you to lose weight. Now, the rate at which you lose weight is going to differ again between person to person, but a general figure that's given is that for every 1 pound of body weight you wish to lose, you need to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit. So in theory, if you wanted to lose 1 pound or 0.5 kg per week, you would need to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit. This therefore means, if you do some, again, basic arithmetic, as I said, it's a common theme when trying to get shredded, then you will be able to work out that you need to be in a 500 calorie deficit on every day of that week. Now obviously you could split it up unevenly. You could have a 1,000 calorie deficit one day and then hit your maintenance calories the next day. As long as on a week by week basis you're burning around 3,500 calories, then you'll lose half a kilogram of weight. Now some people might want to lose more than half a kilogram a week, some people might want to lose less, and in those circumstances essentially you're just going to alter the size of the deficit. So if you wanted to lose less than half a kilo a week, you would reduce it from 500 calories a day to whatever your desired figure is. Or if you wanted to lose a kilo a week, for example, you would double that figure, being in a 1,000 calorie deficit per day, which I do not recommend because that is a lot of deficit. and you will go hungry and it will suck. So, what are some basic tips in order to maintain the calorie deficit? Yes, I did forget to say the word. I think I've probably got mild, cognitive issues, but we move on. My best tips for maintaining a calorie deficit, without a doubt, would be 1, volume eating, 2, drinking lots of water, like lots and lots and lots of water, and 3, eating a protein-centered diet where the majority of the food that you ingest is protein. So volume eating, what is it? Basically, the most basic explanation of what volume eating is you eat the lowest calorie dense foods in order for you to be able to eat the most mass. So if you have 500 calories worth of oil, that is only going to take up about that much inside of your stomach. If you eat about 500 calories worth of salad, that is going to take up about that much inside your stomach, therefore leaving you more full. So that is the basic premise of volume eating. Essentially, you eat foods lower in calories so you can therefore eat more food, remain more satiated, and feel less hungry. Now, low calorie dense foods tend to taste like Satan's anus, but if you're vegetarian or enjoy salad, the good news for you is that you like the taste of the devil's asshole. Tip number 2 is not volume eating, I just said fucking volume eating. Tip number 2 is drinking lots of water. I purposefully accentuated my drinking sounds so the microphone picked up that I was actually drinking and not just faking drinking. Wow, voice break. Woo! So, drinking lots of water, why is it good? Now, it's a similar premise to volume eating in a sense that water will actually remain in your stomach for a certain period of time, therefore filling it before it's, of course, filtered out through the kidney and into the bladder. If you didn't know, water has a total of 0 calories, so if you drink 1 liter of water or 1 kilogram of water, that will fill your stomach up until it is filtered out and leave you remaining satiated whilst not having consumed any actual calories. So not only are you likely to eat less, but water also speeds up your metabolism. Obviously, if your body has more water to filter out, it's going to be speeding up its cellular processes, therefore burning more energy, thus increasing your calorie deficit further, thus bringing you ever closer to the ever elusive goal of looking like a shredded up turkey by the summer. Tip number 3, have a large protein intake. Protein is the essential building block oh my god. Protein is the essential building block for muscle and is vital in the process of protein synthesis. This will likely lead to a build of more muscle, a higher muscle mass leading to a higher metabolism, therefore increasing your deficit. Also, protein itself has the highest thermogenesis, which means to digest protein, your body has to work the hardest, therefore burning the most energy. So not only does protein make you fucking jacked, but also it helps you to burn fat and thus look like Zeus or Poseidon or other Greek gods that I don't know the names of. So you've locked down your calorie deficit, you're confident, you've come up with a figure that you're happy with, you can consistently hit that figure on a day-by-day basis. So you've got your metabolic rate, you've found out what that is, and you're hitting your calories daily. Arguably just as vital as keeping your deficit is tracking your weight. Without tracking your weight, it's essentially cut suicide because you will have no idea how much weight you are losing. You could either lose 5 kilos within a week and therefore lose all your muscle mass and look like a twig, or you could actually be gaining weight and gaining fat when your goals are to lose the weight and get lean. So how often should you be tracking your weight? Now, Again, this is completely personal, it's completely up to you, but the more times you weigh yourself, the more precise and accurate your weight loss journey is going to be. So if you imagine it on a graph, right? If you take the course of a month, if you weighed yourself 3 times throughout the month, that graph is going to give you a whole lot less information than if you weighed yourself, let's say, twice a week throughout that month. You will have 10 points on that graph, thus allowing you to be more precise, change your calories more, choose what you eat more, and just, enjoy yourself in general to a higher level. I tend to weigh myself every day just because, I like being precise. I like to be able to see the continual deficit, the continual trend of my weight loss journey. Now, for some people, that might not work. Some people, if they look at their weight every day, they might get too obsessed with it. That can create freaking, eating disorders, body image disorders, which we don't want. But I'm digressing. So let's say a good number to weigh yourself weekly is twice per week. That way you can stay consistent, you can see the trend, you can adjust your calories accordingly to adjust to the changes in your weight if your weight loss is too slow or if it's too fast. Right. My camera died. What was I talking about? I was talking about weighing yourself. Basically, in summary, forget everything I've just said. Weigh yourself a lot because you can be more precise and it helps you enjoy your life more. Also, don't get discouraged if you see an increase in weight or a massive decrease in weight. Just stick to your calories, trust in the process. Don't go changing your calories too early or too soon if your weight becomes stagnant. Just stick to it for a prolonged period of time. Keep your fingers crossed. Keep your fingers crossed. Pray to the gods of food and physiques, aka the Greek gods, and just fucking weigh yourself, man. Tip number 4, it's kind of a no-brainer. Trust the process and persevere. Obviously, despite what I said at the start of the physio? Who's going physio? Jesus. Despite what I said at the start of the video, losing weight obviously can be quite tricky. It requires a lot of commitment as well as perseverance. So if you are tracking your weight, you do notice spikes, try not to overreact and immediately change how much you're eating or what you're eating. Stay consistent with it, try to keep changes minimal, and most importantly, enjoy the process, because if you're not enjoying what you're eating, you're not going to stick to it. Keto, freaking low carb, low fat, whatever it is, it's not going to work if you don't actually do it. So my advice would be, eat whatever you want, but just don't eat too much of it. Now, I don't know how long this video has been. It's been a different type of video. This is a sit-down video. This hasn't been a vlog. And it feels kind of nice. It feels kind of nice to be sat down in my room, just kind of, I don't have to move around. I don't have to burn any energy. And I don't mind not doing much. It's kind of nice. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed that video, please leave a like. If you're new around here, subscribe. And if you want to see more videos of this type as opposed to the vlogs, comment down below. Obviously, if you hated this video, also let me know. Please leave more suggestions for video ideas because I like making videos and I love reading your guys' comments. If you want me to go even more in depth on the process of losing weight, I'm happy to get into the science of it. So leave a comment down below and I'll see you guys in a future video. Adios. Right, good-o.